Good evening. It's Monday evening. I didn't film today. I made the decision to basically take the day at home in the office doing drawings. So I'm actually into the evening now. I'm still doing it. I'm absolutely knackered. My eyes aren't used to looking at a screen for that long. But yeah, I just thought I'd pan you around, just show you what I've been up to really for the day, and just maybe do a little bit of chatting about how I do it. I don't really know. So I'll flick you over now. This job I'm actually looking forward to. A kitchen. This is one end of the kitchen where I've got like, they're having like open ladder sort of pantry shelving, and I think I'm going to do these on the LR32 system, but I'm going to do holes at 96. It'll be every third, and I'm going to buy a bigger router bit for it and put timber pegs in. I think it might look quite nice. Just keep it a bit chunky, because they actually wanted all this in wood, but I drew it and I thought it looked a bit heavy, so they haven't asked for it to be painted, but I just thought that looked a lot nicer. They haven't really given me a lead on colours either, and that's really what I do. I take their ideas and their suggestions and I just put my own twist on it. I'll show you how the customer gets, how well this is going to come out. They kind of get this, which basically shows them the layout of the room. I'll get a good angle of that at some point. Take the filter, the things off the side, the layers. Yeah, they kind of get that. It tells them where everything's going in the room. So I have one that's just like not coloured in. I can go back to. It's got all I can keep measurements sort of saved on there, like written. And then I'll do one where I can take a nice photo of it, maybe like that. Get that out of the background, something like that. Boom, they get that. That shows them the kitchen. Normally I draw the oven and fridge in, but I've done about Christ knows how many drawings today, so I've sort of given my apologies and just said, look, I'm not going to draw the appliances. Here's a rough costing and a rough drawing. If you want to go any further, do so. And then another one where, again, just being creative, sorry. This is a bathroom for somebody. And essentially they wanted a roll top bath originally, but I just decided I didn't want to do it. I don't like the idea of all the crap being spilt down the side and that, and the window's not in the middle, so I found a way of building like this little towel shelf, and I've got like a little detail where it floats off the floor a bit. Yeah, I just thought that looked quite nice as well. That's purely just me being creative really, and I love doing that. Whether or not they'll go for that, it's almost impossible to say really, and they'll probably make quite a few amendments to that one. What else have I done today? I've done this one. So this one again, I've not drawn this one in detail. I managed to get a good snapshots out of this. So this is again the room looking down on it. There'll be other bits involved. I'll get a nice shots out of this section. You muppet. Let's get it. Come on, Matt. Let's get it. Basically, I normally just half the room. I'll take some of the stuff out of the room so I can put myself into a good position to get a good photo. But something like that where you've got the archway. And again, this is me being creative. They've not asked for any of this. I just thought put a veneer back in there. Use these IKEA, I think it's Kallax boxes. I've used them a fair amount. Little laundry bin down there as well. This is essentially how I price my jobs. Let me just try and fill that. So what I do is I'll go visit the customer, and in my notebook, believe it or not, actually, which page is it? Which customer is that? It's this one. So these are just what I will draw down on site. It seems to work, and I'll just do a video of the room. It's got all my key points. It looks ridiculous really, and then I'll come home and using the video and basically the video and my measurements, I'll create the room for them, and then I'll do every element of the room as a layer. So when I want to take the ceiling out, I can take the ceiling out. I can take out, like, say, a certain wall to give me a good shot of the room. Actually, we'll put the ceiling back in. So basically, this customer here, they want furniture built here, going around this corner, which is going to be I think the idea is to try and match these doors, and they want it all the way to the ceiling. So This one poses me quite a large problem because I'm not 100% sure what that's going to look like. Trying to match like a mirror effect on doors going around here. Whether or not I go around the corner or not, I've suggested going as close to the light switch as we can. There's a light switch there which I haven't documented yet. Normally I'll just do that as a dotted line, but maybe that was on, I've just deleted it. But yeah, I'll struggle with that. But really, the biggest thing about this is the fact that now I've actually got the room done. So what I'll do, everything is grouped and saved as a layer. You see I've got the extras here, like these are bits of the doors and the window panes. I've got all those knocking around. There's like the skirting profile. You see that? That's the skirting board profile for the room. Little weird things that I know what the profile is, and I've got templates of those saved I've made before. I sort of bring them into the folder so that if I ever want to adapt anything, it's quite quick and easy. You have to ignore all these bits of wall going higher. That's just for ease of getting it drawn quickly. And what I'll do is I'll duplicate that. I'll put that over there, and then I can just draw as many versions of the wardrobe that's going in here. I can draw as many as I want, and then when I've finished drawing that one, I can then go into the other room and draw another one and just compare them. That's just really how I do it. I often find, and this is what's held me up for years, using the CAD is just brilliant for this. Getting the room right, documenting the room, it can take so long. That probably took me an hour to draw that room, which is crazy because they almost maybe don't even expect a picture of the room, but it helps them actually it helps me more than it probably helps them. Just shows them what it's going to look like in the situation, rather than giving them just a nice glossy picture of a wardrobe. I can make it. They need to see, especially then. This is a really good example because there's so many shapes. The room's insane. The room's really nice when you're in it. This doesn't do it justice. I'm sure you can imagine. You can see a church through there. It's a lovely view, but I've just got to make my furniture look like it should be there. Yeah, so I spend a lot of time drawing the room out, really. It just makes, and I've done 6 of these today. Done 6 rooms, and what I like to do is I like to draw the room as soon as I go and look at the job. So that night, if I can, or certainly within a day, I'll get on the computer and I'll just mock the room up, and then I can come back to that. Sometimes I need 2 or 3 sleeps to think about what will work. I can just come back to that and just draw cupboards in there, whatever I'm drawing in there, kitchens in there. I keep adapting the space, adapting to the space I've got. You're never going to get something right the first time. Sometimes you do send stuff the first time, and I give you a classic example, that media wall in week 3. I drew that very quickly based on what he told me, and he actually did a very good job of explaining that to me. It just meant I could just draw it, gave it to him. He was like, wow, that's exactly what I wanted. And then he changed it anyway. So you're never going to get it right first time. You have to accept that and you have to roll with it anyway. Your draw's working well, isn't it? Let's come back here. Look at that. Hey, didn't order it any darker in the end. Look at me bar. It's only a home drawer. It looks alright when it's back in there. Right, good morning. It's Tuesday morning. Today I start a new job, which actually is, I thought was going to be something else, but the customer's changed their mind. So I think just to keep me in, they've sort of given me something else to do. Yeah, and it's not workshop related really. Sometimes I get this. I've done a few of these this year really where they're not workshop related. I'm trying to do less and less and less, but you've got existing customers, people you already know, so you don't want to say no to the work. Interestingly, I actually worked at this house before this customer bought it for the existing customers. And actually the existing customer left a little note of what tradesmen they'd used, which is really nice of them, and I was on it. But then even more interestingly, I already know the customer that bought the house anyway, because I worked on his house. So but yeah, anyway, in summary, it's got a downstairs wet room, which they want to turn into just a WC, and then also
the other half, they want to half it basically, half for still a WC and the other half for just a bit more downstairs storage. So there may well even be a bit of furniture to make, you know, a little bit later on down the line. But the guy does a little bit of stuff himself. His brother's a carpenter, so he'll do bits. Right, so I'll probably do a time lapse of me jumping on it, really. That's it. Right, and so this here, this has got to come out. We're going to take this off just so I can carry a line through without that crack in there. So I might actually skim it myself if I've got time. I'm going to run a wall all the way along, so I've got to take that off, I think. And I might just take this off to make it easier. And then there'll be a door here. Possibly need to remove that as well. Obviously got to remove all this. But yeah, there's not a lot of room to film this, but we'll give it a go. All right, let's bring the stuff in. Just have a minute while I'm having my beans. Quite miss this sort of stuff actually. It's alright, you get to do something. You get to just get on and do it, make a bit of mess. Yeah, so you can see I've had all this out now. There's a lintel in there, but it's only taking a little bit of block work, and it's whether or not, the question would be, was this tying this in? But the wall was so loose and there was a doorway there. There's no need for it. We've got piers here for the garage door, because this was a garage, you see, originally. I actually remember when it was a garage. I worked for the people before. But anyway, what I've got to do now is I've taken the rad off, taken the toilet out. I'm going to investigate, because there's going to be a toilet going there and a basin going there, or vice versa. I'm going to investigate where that waste goes, just without making too much mess. Then I'm going to start building this wall here, put that door in the middle. So I think that waste right now possibly goes either this way, because there's a saw stack here, or straight out. There's also a shower, because that's a wet room underneath that cupboard, so there's a shower there. So there's a possibility there's some form of waste there, but I don't think it'll be 4-inch. We can still get into this stack if we need to. I've uncovered a few blocks just to get in there. I've got to ring a plumber now, see if I can get them pipes moved, just to bring it on a bit. And yeah, investigate what the floor's made of, so I can bring the floor there, so he can make his decision on how he wants to treat this. It's actually the same level, so as it is. You can see a bit of ply there. I've just got to make sure it's enough ply. A lot of people put 6mm ply down. You might as well put a sheet of paper down, as far as I'm concerned, but such is. Only unfortunate thing as well really there though is that this has been double boarded and this has been single boarded, so we've got a difference. But worst case scenario, do I reboard that? I don't know. A few things to decide on, but just want to get going now. Have my beans, do a bit of investigation, and then I'll time lapse building this wall, I guess. Yeah, ring the plumber, ring the floor there as well. Right, happy days. Easy day really. Working hard, but you know, easy on the brain. Good morning. This is Wednesday. Yeah, I don't know if the time lapse really picked it up because it's a narrow space, but probably need to get a better camera really, don't I, to be honest. But anyway, yeah, I've got the plumber coming now. He's going to come this afternoon. He's going to try and drop some pipes in there or in here because they're both hollow. We'll definitely get them in there. And you can get up into the loft space to get that because it's just like a little lean-to on the front of the house. And they're the pipes he's got to adapt. Just there, so I've sort of worked around them for now. Disconnected the radiator. I've disconnected that, obviously. And yeah, it's been a slight change actually, which is always going to happen. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to disconnect this now, because what they've spoken about doing is we're going to batten it and panel it all the way around this room to this height and plaster the rest. So I'm going to stick some plasterboard to that, and just prep this for paneling. We're not going to put the paneling in now, it's a bit too early. Also, they've got to get some vanity units for there and some sort of vanity / toilet, hidden toilet thing for there, which they might, I don't know what they're going to do with that. Yeah, that's it really. Sort of see it, it's made a massive difference. Don't know if I filmed from this angle before I took the doorway out, but although it's only a little bit of doorway, the difference that's made to this area. And then we're going to panel all that as well, and there'll be like a boot room thing going in there. And then I think we discussed with the ceiling, because it's out, because this is 2 boards and that's 1. Well, actually that's 2 9s and that's 1 12. So the difference being around about, what's that? Should have worked that before coming on. Should that 18, 12, 5, 6 mil? Is that right? I don't know, 7 mil. 7 mil difference, can't be. Yeah, it is. So 7 mil difference. But you got skim and stuff. There's a lot more skim on this ceiling than there is that, to be honest with you. So I'm going to cut this back to that rafter, cut this one back, and I'm going to splice a bit of 9 mil board in. I'm going to sort of manipulate and try and lose that 7 mil over probably like 400 or 500 mil, something like that. And then here again, I can't do anything about that. This is just prouder of that. So I think I'm just going to put a little piece back in there and just continue that. So there's a little bit of a box in there. It's not the end of the world. You've got one here anyway. So yeah, pack off the original block work and then screw through the plasterboard into another bit of timber to clamp it. But that is absolutely solid. Just looks a mess, unfortunately. I've got quite a lot to do really, actually, before I start boarding. The goal would be to just have this ready to plaster tomorrow, so I can skim it, and then in between skimming I can just hang the door. Right, here we go.
I never really doubted that I could do, that I had the right to do the things that I wanted to do.
It's just a little example of all the stuff you have to cram on the van in the morning just for a little job like this. Also, a lot of that's in my locker. I had to get one fitting from the merchants. But yeah, it's just sometimes yeah, basically because I'm not doing this job complete, because I'm just sort of filling in really just to help the customer out. I mean, he might want me, I suppose I could always say to him, do you want me to do it complete? But I think he just likes to do a few bits himself. And he can do it, but basically I just thought this morning, these they're not going to want them light switches there, are they? So while I'm plastering, I might as well. So I'm going to disconnect them now, and I don't think there's enough slack to put them here. But if I disconnect them and reconnect them back up in the ceiling, then the electrician can get there at a later date. Because really, what he wants to do is one switch there does these 4 lights. Well, you might as well put these 2 lights back over, because all the feed goes to the switch anyway. The power goes to the switch in this house, so you can just connect from that light, daisy chain it to these 2, and then leave this one connected to these 2, and that. And you'll want to reposition them anyway, no doubt. But yeah, I don't really know what I want to tell you. It's just one of those things that's now going to take me longer. I've taken the base and that out, but yeah, I want to get all that done, all the prep done. Now I can just jump on boarding and battening. My trade really, my job really. Yeah. Before the plumber gets here, so I'm going to turn the power off now. Luckily no one's here. And disconnect those. Good morning. It's Thursday morning. School's on strike today, so one of the kid that lives there, she'll be off school, so and the parents sort of already warn me that I like to sleep in, so I might not jump in there and start filming. I also didn't film at the end of yesterday because the plumber was in, and yeah, he just took a little bit longer than what we both thought, which is, you know, sort of standard really. I think you always hope for the best, hope we could get the pipes where we wanted to get them, but it proved to be a bit of a nightmare. Although he has got them in, and as far as I'm aware, because I left in the end, I just thought, got to about 4 o'clock, and I just thought I'm going to tidy up because he'll be finished. He might even not finish till 5. I had a tiny bit of work left to do, just to get ready for plastering today. Really, last day today. You got to have a list. Really, I've been through this on one of my other videos. Sometimes you write it down, sometimes you don't. So really, thinking about it, what I'm going to do is jump in there, PVA everything, just in case that takes forever to go off. So I'll PVA what I need to. Well, I'll scrim tape, PVA, because the scrim doesn't stick to the PVA. Scrim tape, PVA. Then I'll jump on that bit of dabbing because that wants to be gone off really, so I can tack a bead to it for the skim. And then I'll pre-hang the door, but I'll take the door off because I'm going to plaster. And then I will put the window board on. I've got to put a window board on as well. I think I've got a couple of screws to put in a little few places. But yeah, overboarding them tiles actually work quite well. I just use sticks like something. I can say it, sticks like shit. No, I couldn't say it. Yeah, I just use sticks like shit. I said it again. And just screwed through the grout joins rather than risking drilling, because it's very hard. I've had it where people before want me to like hammer drill plasterboard to something. Well, plasterboard's so soft that as soon as you drill the hole, you've compromised it. So I basically piloted a 2mm hole with a little HSS bit I've got through the plasterboard to make sure I was hitting the grout joint before I put the screw in. Seems quite labour intensive, but once you get going, it's not that bad. And then once I know I've hit the grout joint, I then put the screw in. Yeah, it worked out all right. To be honest with you, I think you could just fire a drill straight through the grout joint, but you've got to know where the grout joints are, haven't you? And they weren't level either. Phenomenal, but over that, all of my levels are broke. Yeah, so jump in there really, jump in and get going. Don't be bothered, make the noise, but let's go. Yeah. Right, all ready, all tapped, all dabbed, dubbed out where I need to. This room as well, but I've just got with the insulation in there. I battened all this out as well yesterday, boarded all this. You see, I picked up the grout joints, like I said, with the tiles. It's got glue on anyway, so yeah. But I'm just going to put this window board on here, so I'll just chop the tiles off. So I'll show you how to do it. So you always get a bit of window board a bit longer, so then your offcut you can use. So you just rebate the back like that, so it sits on here. Then you want to write. It doesn't matter as long as this window board, I've done this loads of times now, but as long as this window board is parallel, you write left on one side, right on the other, and you'll literally scribe that in with your pencil. So it doesn't matter what this is cut to, just scribe that in with your pencil like that, then mark where it starts and stops, and then you'll come over here, move this. Do exactly the same thing. Paramount that you get this even across the back. There'll always be something holding you off. Okay, so we put that into there. And we do the same thing. If it's really far out, you can use a compass. It will never be a straight line. This. It should be, but it never will be, so you can't really use a bevel. Well, you can, but it won't be as neat. So yeah, now I've got that, I'll cut those as a template, left and right, and then when that fits, I can then also use this as a measurement, because once I get that in, I can put a pencil mark on the board and on the window once it fits. I can slide that over once it fits and put a pencil mark on the board and the window, and then I can actually add those measurements up from window to window, pencil mark to cut, and pencil mat to cut, I can add them all up on the calculator and then translate that to the board. It will go in. If you're in any doubt, cut it a mil over, or if you're feeling risky, cut it a mil under, because it'll always be a mil under, won't it? Let's be honest. Right, anyway, top tip. Right, tip number 2. So you got it in, obviously nice and tight. Is a scribe, and then you want to do is, because this is only rough cut, you want to keep the back, the thickness of your pencil, or whatever you're scribing with. Like I say, if it's massively out, it's a compass, but a pencil normally works. Yeah, that's probably like 6 or 7 mil to the tip. So you keep that back, the thickness of the pencil, so you can then draw that line there. Obviously you do that parallel as well, so the thickness of the pencil all the way, so you're not creating an odd angle, because these, where they're plastered, will awfully sweep in or out. Having said that, that looks quite parallel. This one here, yeah, this one here is, you can see that a little bit out. Yeah. And then we can scribe that in now, and then we can shunt it back. Job's a good one. The only thing is, I think the window is out of level, isn't it? Yeah. So I'll just twist the board to suit, I guess. Right. Right, it's 2:30 now. I'm going to jump on, get all the plastering done. I was hoping to be done by 12 to start plastering, so I could do it in 2 goes. But it's not above me to do it in one. I've just got to get this panel on here, this panel, this bit of wall, and then this bit of wall for the corridor, if you like. Just a bit of, it's just quite a few little bits and bobs of cutting in and patching and whatnot. So I like to take my time with it, but I want to be done today, so we're going to smash this out. I've pre-hung the door, chopped the hinges in. Jump on it really. I might do a time lapse of it. Yeah, I might do a time lapse of it, see how that goes. Yeah. Okay then, yeah, when the time lapse cut out, so I don't know how far it got, but when you do plastering, it's 2.5 to 3 hours. So it was about 2:30, that's why I made the decision to get it all on in one go. So what I've done, I'll show you. Obviously I've patched this bit of ceiling in, we had that 7mm difference, I've sort of feathered that out as best I can. Feathered this in as best I can, but unfortunately the wall swoops. I mean, ideally I probably could have took it back a bit, but I'd made all the mess the other day, you see. And then feathered this back into the original bead. That's come out really well actually. Rather than you put a bead on there and it moves the problem around to the corner, you see. And then eventually what I'll do is in the next couple of weeks sometime I'll cut some vertical groove paneling for there and for inside the cloakroom, which will go in now, and I'll get that sprayed in the workshop so the chap can have it. Doors on. Yeah, gaps on the doors are nice. Crap on the lens. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, and then this will be vertical paneling as well, all the way around. And then there'll be a low level vanity unit there with a sink, obviously. Then there'll be a toilet there, again in a lower level unit. And obviously we've skimmed all the high level. We didn't skim that because it's existing. It was already plastered, so it's fine. Yeah, we've got the window board on. That looks nice. Yeah, not bad. 3 days graft really. It's not too bad. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to film this tomorrow because I might not do anything other than get on top of the quotes then for the drawings. I've got more to do. You know, I've had a good week here really. I mean, I'm only doing it on day work, but I don't know, see how I go. I've got a couple of things I could do in the workshop, but we'll see. So you might not see me, this might be the end. So if this here is, if this is the end, something a little bit different, that could be the thumbnail, couldn't it? thanks again, like, to people that are watching and liking and subscribing as well. Like, I'm not actually getting that many likes, but that's cool. I don't really mind. Yeah, subscribers are pretty cool. Just really engagement's pretty cool. Really like it. Yeah, thanks again. Have a good week. Well, when this comes out Monday, have a good week. Just have a good life, really. That's what I'm saying, isn't it? You know. Morning, Friday, 11:30. Yeah, I'm actually gonna just come into. I was gonna spend the whole day doing quotes and stuff, but I went to go see a customer. I've just gone to go see another customer. Some drawings I've done on Monday, so I've got to redo those. Unfortunately, just change the room around. But the way I'm drawing stuff now, I should be able to draw that quite quickly. Anyway, I thought I'm just going to come in because I just remembered that I haven't done these latex pads where the thickness plane is going to go. So right now I'm going to empty the van. I've got a little bit of rubbish piled up here. This is stuff that I've got to sell still, but yeah, so I'm going to pour a latex pad there, and I'm actually going to pour a latex pad here. I'm not going to move the spindle rod. I'm just going to jack it up, and then I'll just infill the, you know, I'll put it on some blocks of wood, latex around the blocks of wood, then take the blocks of wood out. Or chop them, I suppose I'll chop them flat. I don't know what I'll do. I'm not moving it. Fucking not moving it anyway, whatever I do. Yeah, speaking of things to sell, I'm actually going to go pick up a log burner as well. So I'm going to get this done. Then I'm going to go over to Northampton and pick up a log burner, because I'm going to put a log burner there. That probably won't go into, I would like to get it in today. It's a lot of driving around though, isn't it? And I've still got to I've got to price up another kitchen. So I've had another kitchen sent to me. So that's 3 kitchens I've got now to price. Well, I'm going to empty the van because I've got that rubbish from that other job. Then I'm going to whack these latex pads on. Might film that actually. It'd be a bit of fun, wouldn't it? A bit of filming, a bit of we've had some plastering this week. Might have some latex in. Right then. Well, you can make a video out of everything, can you? Anything, everything. Got to go home late. Right. That one done. Looks horrendous, but it is actually level. This one looks worse, but I'm supposed to clean all that up. I'm just trying to do it so bloody quick. What I'll do is I'll chop them bits of wood out. I'll chop them flush with the floor when it's done, so I ain't got to move the spindle mould again, and it'll just drop back onto that. Believe it or not, it is actually level. That one's spot on actually as well. That one's as level as I can see, but I can't get round the machine. I can't get in the machine, you see. But under the machine, I've been under there. There's definitely loads of latex in there, so yeah, I think that's all right. Right, we'll go pick this wood burner up. There she is. Monster. I've got a hot plate welded on the top. That's for doing my coffee and stuff on. But that is It needs a little bit of work. Got to replace some of these glass slats. I've got some here. I've got to just tighten up the fire seal on the back. It's like 2-man lift minimum. I'm gonna have to get the forklift to get it out. It's what do you call it as well? It's massive. It's like over a metre. It's like a metre by a metre, and sort of with the plate and that on 600mm deep. But it's gonna be great. Can't wait to get that going. Yeah. Oh, picking that for item. Bit more bookwork and I'm done for the day. Look at it. Size of it.